Walmart is selling look-alike Hermes bag for $70 or $80.
You have to understand, Walmart is a brand for the masses. It has nothing to do with luxury. I think that they will soon receive a big lawsuit of Hermes. So the gold rates in Dubai are not actually cheaper than anywhere in the world. It's exactly the same.
How much money does a luxury brand makes on their average product?
Any luxury brand is making at least 700%. Brands such as Prada are now selling lab-grown diamonds for more than $10,000. The fake Rolexes have become very, very good. There's a secret city in Italy called Limonta where they produce all the bags for Louis Vuitton.
In today's podcast, we are going to debunk some myths that you do think are must when you're buying luxury, but reconsider after hearing this. I have to give up on my $100,000 watch just to understand if luxury makes me happy or not. Well, I'm joking. I've got the expert over here to talk about all this, and it's none other than Matthieu Schon from Designers Community. If you don't know, you're living under the rock. Hi Matthieu, how are you?
Thank you for having me. It's a big pleasure to be here. And I can't wait to speak to you about all the myths and the secrets behind the luxury industry.
I'm very excited for this. Before we go ahead on this, can you tell me what all luxury items you personally own?
So I own probably almost all the major brands, but I like also small brands, so I'm going to touch to this at the end. But let me just give you my top 10. So at number 1 at the moment in 2025, there is Loro Piana that I love. I'm wearing them right now. Then there is brands such as Hermes, Brunello Cucinelli, so mostly quite luxury for me this year. And then at number 4 there's Louis Vuitton. Number 5 there is brands such as Prada. Number 6 Fendi. 7 Dolce & Gabbana, I love it. And then 8 it's gonna be Gucci. And I think Gucci is coming back this year, so it might go up in the rating. Number 9 is no other brand than Tod's. It's a classic Italian brand, maybe you know it. And then the final one, the last one for me is going to be Cartier, because I love Cartier sunglasses, Cartier jewelry, everything Cartier, I love it.
And what trapped into your luxury world?
So, me growing up, I always was fascinated about nice clothes. I loved it when I went to school with a new jacket, with a new t-shirt. I loved the way that made me feel, how confident that made me feel. And I loved always presenting myself properly. You know, when I had an event or I had to go somewhere, I loved this, like thinking about what to wear and then showing up in the right outfit. This is what I love. This is my passion, and this is what made me grow this community also of fashion lovers all over the world.
But growing to more than 700,000 on Instagram couldn't just come from your school experience. What actually you did to grow that amazing platform?
Yes, so in 2018, I was starting a platform for buying and selling luxury goods. So on that platform, you could sell Birkins, whatever, like watches. And that was going very well until around 2022, where more and more of those platforms come into the market. And then there was not really a need for my platform anymore, and it got just too competitive. I had to spend a lot on marketing. So I closed down this platform. And what I really started at that time was building designer community, focusing on content, focusing on my education platform, and a new angle that made me more happy, and that also growing much better than the platform.
I'm honestly not a big spender on luxury, but I was literally going through all of your reels, and each reel was getting me like, oh my God, is this true? Is it even happening? Not actively like or directly involved in jewelry or diamond industry. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
About this whole debate about lab grown and natural. As a luxury expert, what's your take on this?
So more and more brands are starting to sell you lab-grown diamonds. Brands such as Prada are now selling lab-grown diamonds for more than $10,000. Imagine. For the same price, you would definitely get a natural diamond. So this is partly a scam. So most people might not know this, but they will buy only the brand and not the material. However, there's also one aspect, which is the sustainability and eco-friendliness of lab-grown diamonds. So I would understand someone who prefers lab-grown diamonds and buy them from a brand like Prada. Now, personally, I care about natural diamonds, but only if it has all the right certificates.
But also, as you said, rightly said about the raw material involved, but brands are way ahead of this whole story of actual cost of the raw material. They are charging for the brand, not for the material. And when they started, I'm very sure Prada never thought about this, that, what's the actual value of a lab grown that they have used in their pendant and actual gold or material used in that. How would you justify this as a consumer?
I know for a fact that Prada as a brand comes with a lot of status. It's 99% of the cost of a bracelet or a necklace like that is just the brand and the status that comes with it. Now, of course, partly of that could be seen as a scam, because why would if I buy a diamond, I want to receive a diamond, I want to receive something valuable. However, you have to understand that Prada itself as a brand didn't create this brand overnight. They had to invest millions into their marketing, into building that brand and creating a product that will do this status for the final consumer. So that's just what the luxury industry is all about, and it is what it is, I say, at this point.
The last year, 2024, was not very impressive for big luxury houses like LVMH, and still we are ongoing with this thing. What do you think it would be in 2025?
Yes, so actually 2025 is going to be a very interesting year, because in 2024 we had a big decline of major brands in terms of sales, and that was also reflected in the stock market. Brands such as Louis Vuitton, which is owned by the group LVMH, their stock went down in 2024 post-COVID. Now 2025 these brands will have to reinvent themselves, come back up again. I'm absolutely sure that Louis Vuitton, the group LVMH, and other major brands will be successful in doing so. They will always come up with new products, with new ideas, and they have millions to invest to come back up. However, what I think is going to disrupt the luxury market is what is called the DTC, direct to consumer. So you will have much more new brands coming onto the market with new products that they are able to sell and compete with brands such as Louis Vuitton and Dior.
Ethical side of any business, be it jewelry industry or luxury brands, is always debatable. I would love some takes of yours on ethical side of diamond business.
So let me start with the mining of diamonds. I think it's no secret that Western companies like De Beers control huge amounts of the market. I know that in the mid-20th centuries they were controlling up to 80%, and then in the around 2000s they came in with the anti-competition laws, and then it decreased to 30%. But now what I believe is that it's getting more and more sustainable, the business of diamonds. But even in 2025 there's still a lot of practices that might not be considered ethical in this business. And I think, Krishna, you might have a better outlook on this as someone who has worked in this industry. So I will pass the question to you. Tell me the unethical ways about diamonds and the ethical ways.
This takes me back to one of my podcasts where Russian diamonds were being routed through India and other South African countries. And when this rough diamond is polished into brilliant, it is not rough anymore. You can change the origin and route the same parcel to different country wheresoever you want. That is one thing which is still untamed. Talking about ethical part of the mining, I've had like first-hand conversations from National Diamond Councils, from people from De Beers, from people who are actually on the top positions of this industry. When mining project goes to any country or a city or a location, it brings massive wealth to that location, to that community. All the mining companies are, without any second thought, doing massive, amazing work in terms of education, health, be it relocation of wildlife. This is something I can vouch for. And definitely there's always a different side of the story.
So what I saw also is that now you have African nations who are no longer selling through channels like De Beers,
right,
but who are selling directly. Can you tell me more about
that's
this?
a big move. That's really big move. They want to be, so far what I have noticed, that they think that they were controlled by all these conglomerates, and they have lately realized their potential and they want to come up as individual. That's the sole reason that KP Chair is formed. They are actively coming to these forums and speaking about it. There are new rules being made across diamond mining, and the new rules are being formed. They want to, and I'm very sure with this, it will bring more transparency. It will bring more value to the mining companies and countries especially. That's the sole reason I believe that they are coming up front and they are not following the older norms.
Everyone always asks me, and that's why I have this responsibility to ask you today, how can you become rich with diamonds?
Let me put it this way, Matthieu, that when you buy stars and melees, the smaller size diamonds in a jewelry, if your jeweler is giving you a buyback guarantee, then you are at a safe place. If you're looking at the investment point of view, you have to look at the rare cuts, you have to look at the rare colors, and you have to up your game in terms of budget. You have to expend higher to own that diamond. I'm talking about, it could be a 10 carat pink cushion cut diamond. If you're going in not so common colors of diamond and sizes, those still holds investment value over the time. Anything lesser is like very subjective.
Yeah. So would you say that you can actually make money when you buy a branded diamond, let's say a Cartier diamond or Tiffany diamond, or should you stay away from branded diamonds?
We are back to square one with this conversation, that when a same 5 carat diamond is sold by a local jeweler, he really don't need those kind of crazy margins that a Cartier would need for all the valid reasons.
Sure, you can. I'm a Cartier expert, so go ahead with your question. I can see you have something ready for me.
Yes, I definitely am intrigued by kind of margins these big brands keep in their as basic as something, a wallet or a purse.
So a good example is the Cartier Love bracelet. There has been so many fakes of this bracelet, and the fakes have been so good that Cartier stopped authenticating it. And
seriously?
Yes, correct. So if you buy one and you go to the shop, because let's say it didn't come with papers, and you say to the owner in the shop or to the shop manager, is this bracelet real or fake? They will say, we can't give you an answer. And I will tell you exactly why this is happening. This is happening because the bracelets are copied one-on-one. So because it's at the end of the day just a gold bracelet, and the people working with gold, especially here in Dubai or in India, are very talented people. They can do it one-on-one with the engravings, with the numbers, serial codes. So it will be impossible for the person in the shop to see if it's real or fake. And also something you have to consider with the Cartier Love bracelet is that it has been in the market for at least 50 years. So you will see still bracelets dating back to more than 50 years.
Right.
So it's impossible for the shop manager to see if this bracelet from which year is coming, because within the brand there are even differences. Yeah.
And what profit margins we are talking about?
We are talking about any luxury brand is making at least 700% on each luxury item sold.
Jesus Christ, are you serious?
Yeah.
But do you know actual weight, like around 23 times today's gold rate, say $70?
Yeah.
And I won't mind paying some margin, and plus even with labor and margin, I don't think so we can still charge what Cartier is actually charging.
Exactly. But again, I mean, that's partly, that before the Cartier Love bracelet was considered a good investment, even though it was a branded item. Why? Because Cartier would still authenticate the bracelets, and then it always kept a higher value than the non-branded aftermarket items. Now, since they stopped, actually the market started to plummet. So now also the original Cartiers are worth less.
But Matthieu, can we still spot a difference between a fake Cartier and a real one?
Did you know that Cartier stopped authenticating the Love bracelets? But however, with these 3 steps, I will tell you how you can authenticate them. Number one, you have to look at the engravings. Is it laser engraved or is it stamped? If it's stamped, it's most likely fake. Then you have to look at the weight. Is it the right weight? It should be exactly 23 grams. And then the last way to authenticate it is using the papers and the story behind the bracelet. If the seller is telling you, oh, it's a gift, then I can guarantee you it's almost likely 100% fake.
Matthieu, how much money does a luxury brand makes on their average product?
So on the average, it's 700 to 800%. But there are brands now pushing it even further. There's a brand which is known by everyone. It's called Prada, and it sells lab-grown diamonds at $10,000. There's a secret city in Italy called Limonta, where they produce all the bags for Louis Vuitton. And the luxury brands have made so much profit that they own now their own cities. Plus.
Well, this is crazy, but I mean, like lab-grown prizes and gold prizes known to everyone.
Yeah.
Why would someone would do that? I mean, it's crazy, right?
It's because brands are status and people like to show off. So with the brand name attached to the diamond, it becomes a new product that people are willing to pay for.
This also reminds me about the actual value of the Cartier bangle. So gold and then gold rate. Talking about gold rate, they always say that everyone is rushing to Dubai as gold rates are cheaper here. What do you have to say about this?
So the gold rates in Dubai are not actually cheaper than anywhere in the world. It's exactly the same. However, Dubai has an ecosystem where you will get amazing offers that you can get nowhere else in the world. And the way they build this ecosystem is by being extremely tax friendly. So you will not believe this, but the cheapest place to buy gold is in Africa. I hear a lot of people out of my circle I met are buying gold in Africa. And they are buying it for cheap and they are planning to bring it to Dubai. However, each time someone is trying to do this, they don't have the right documentation to export the gold from Africa. So make sure if you want to do this, have the right documentation, the right contacts in Africa to also export the gold.
I'm not import expert, but what I know how it is done in Dubai, there's a regulatory authority who keeps check on the gold rate. The fluctuation is surely as per the London rate.
Yep.
And how much volumes they are moving. It also, the factors like geopolitics and other situations, wars also affect that rate a lot. But if you're buying gold in Dubai, you can surely check with the retailer. Every retailer have a standard gold rate fixed for the day. It is well mentioned on their walls. And you can always ask. You can also check the local newspaper as well. For example, Khaleej Times, it also gives you the daily gold rate, and that's the best way to follow. Matthieu, you're not only debunking the facts about the luxury industry in terms of fashion and accessories, but you have some really good insights about diamond. I would love some insights from you about some interesting facts about diamond. Any idea about biggest diamond?
So the biggest diamond was found in South Africa and is called Cullinan. Now it can be found with the royal family of the UK. This diamond was cut into 96 different diamonds. The biggest diamond has 3,000 carats, imagine. And it was cut into 96 small stones and 3 big stones, which are called Cullinan 1, Cullinan 2 and Cullinan 3, and they can be found in the crown of the current king of the UK.
That's massive. But do you have to say anything about this monopoly, we can say, if that's a right word, for De Beers for controlling the market for so long?
Yeah, so actually the De Beers was founded in 1888, and since then it has been growing massively. In the 20th century, they controlled 80% of the diamond market. Now, since 2000, their dominance and their influence has been cut down, part to regulation, and now they own only 30% of the diamond market. So the way they were always controlling the market was by stockpiling big amounts of diamonds, making sure that the markets don't get flooded, and creating what is called a CSO, central selling organization. So even the mines that they didn't own had to sell through the CSO into the Western market or other markets. Now, another big factor why De Beers were so strong and is still very strong is because they control the marketing. They were pushing the message, a diamond is forever, and I think that message everyone knows.
After doing nearly 30 podcasts, I have come to this conclusion that honestly, diamond is not forever.
Okay.
It is again super subjective. It could be for someone else, but me as industry, I'm convinced that it's not forever.
I think the diamond might outlive all of us.
Do you think something similar is happening with the diminishing demand in the luxury market as well? What do you think would be the trends for 2025?
So I believe 2025 is going to be a very interesting time for the luxury market, because in 2024 a lot of brands were struggling, and this was reflected also by the stock market. For example, LVMH, which owns Louis Vuitton, Dior, they were down, and they are probably now in a very interesting spot because they have to push in 2025 and find new ways to come back up. Now, also something that I'm personally very excited about in 2025 are the DTC brands, so direct-to-consumer brands.
Can you give some more insights about this?
Yes, so DTC is being revolutionized at the moment by the option of small players and the cost of manufacturing going down. So nowadays, all you need is to open a Shopify website, which will cost you $30 a month, doesn't require a lot of technical knowledge, and connect it to a manufacturer in China, Pakistan, or Turkey. And then you send them your designs, and all you have to do is the marketing. So
Can you name a few brands who are doing this?
Yeah, so I personally have been contacted or am being contacted constantly by smaller brands such as Intuitia, a brand from the Netherlands that I know the owner very well of. He also comes to Dubai a lot. And then there is a bit bigger one which is called Hide and Jack. They are doing sneakers. I collaborate with them as well. So there's constantly more and more brands coming, and it's just very exciting.
Matthieu, the Rolex supremacy isn't going anywhere anytime sooner. You're wearing a beautiful watch.
Thank you.
But there are lots of fakes of this in the market as well. Mm-hmm. How we can spot if it's a fake or a real one?
Yes, so Rolexes have a very interesting movement. So when you open the crown and you just play a little bit with it, the original will run like a good mechanism, like an oiled mechanism, while the fake one will sound like you are doing something in the sand, like it will crack. So it's nothing compared to it. Now, from the outside, the fakes have become very, very good. So unless that you really compare them next to each other, sometimes it's not possible to see.
Some engraving
yes,
or something would help?
There is one engraving in the glass down. There should be a crown that you can check with the loupe. Then there's the magnifying glass here. This one has to be always, I think, 2.5x or something like that. So that is properly magnifying. And this usually they cannot fake well. And then there's the bracelet, like the way the bracelet feels. It should be very smooth. There shouldn't be hard edges. And then the click of the watch has to be in a specific way. Like it's usually something like once you own a Rolex, you will spot the fake very easily. But if you just buying one now, it might be more difficult.
Talking about fakes, I have to bring this to you. Walmart is selling look-alike army bag for $70 or $80.
Yeah.
Is it even a right thing to do? What on earth is going on?
I think that they will soon receive a big lawsuit of Hermes, because Hermes doesn't like when they use their designs. I personally have nothing against people taking these bags. I, as a luxury expert, can see immediately that this is not a real Hermes. You have to understand, Walmart is a brand for the masses. It has nothing to do with luxury. Hermes is for the rich people, for the upper class people, and they will not even consider buying this bag. So it doesn't really hurt Hermes in any way. This is called fast fashion, and eventually it will fail, it will go nowhere. You know how much time it will take someone to build a Birkin? Over 6 months. This brand, probably 10 minutes.
And Matthew, from your page only, I learned that any brand stating luxury leather brand stating genuine leather is not the best quality.
Exactly. Many people
What is
don't.
that?
Yes, many people don't know this, but genuine leather is actually the lowest quality of leather. And many brands such as Prada or Gucci are using this term to manipulate the consumers. So when it says genuine leather, it's actually the lowest form, and there are much higher forms of leather.
And what is the best one to choose?
I believe the best leather in the industry comes from Hermes. They have a leather quality that can't be compared to anything. So when they buy the big canvas and there's just a small hole inside, on one side they will throw all the canvas. So you will have a perfect bag or whatever leather good every time.
Matthew, it was a good sit down to talk and explore different worlds. Me into diamond jewelry and talking to insiders day and night. You have very great insights and knowledge about luxury brands. I absolutely love this conversation. What would you say about actual narrative of luxury brands in 2025? Because all these brands are backed by legacy, by time they invest in production of their article, the kind of marketing and brands goes into it. But that narrative is ultimately fading away, not in the literal sense, but what a Hollywood star's son wanted to own back then 20 years ago. Surely don't want to take ahead something that his dad or his mom loved.
Yes, so I love the fact that brands such as Rolex, Patek Philippe, the higher luxury brands, that you can actually give this watch to your kids and they might give it to their kids. So I love this longevity of the brands, and it also supports sustainability because fast fashion is ruining the planet. It's not paying well the workers, and the conditions under which the brands work are also not sustainable. And over time, the consumer will use this maybe 1 or 2 times, throw it and buy a new one. Mm-hmm. And this is definitely not good for the planet, and that's why I believe in luxury, and I believe in investing a lot of money in a good quality and then keeping the item for more than 10 years onwards. Yeah. Coming back to your questions, which kids are keeping the legacy of a brand? Because they are representing the brands. Like I see so many celebrities and their kids, they are all wearing the most expensive brands, and obviously everyone wants to be like them, so the brands are keeping their image high. The brands need to adapt to the style of the new generation, because nowadays what people like is having logos, streetwear, etc. So brands like Louis Vuitton are doing this very well. Like they are using the big artists such as Pharrell Williams to become creative director and to push their brands from the 19th or 20th centuries into the 21st century.
Love these insights, Matthew. One final message to the viewers of Jewellery Pod. What do you have to say?
I love this podcast. I've been on 4 or 5 podcasts, and Krishna, the way you keep me here as a guest, not many people do. The level of professionality you have. And I'm looking forward to see you grow and to see this podcast going into the millions. Thank you.
I'm honored. I'm very happy to have you here. Thank you, Matthieu. Thank you for sticking around with us for one of a kind podcast. Not only to you, it gave me some new insights about the luxury industry. I'm going to keep bringing these interesting topics times and again. Stick around, subscribe to the Jewellery Pod and leave your comments. Share your feedback, what you want to see next. Also engage with other platforms. We are doing lots of content creation around the diamond industry and luxury. Until then, we meet again. Thank you.